Hello citizens of our nation, RAWR here, and in anticipation of the upcoming film Avengers Infinity War, today we'll be talking about Avengers, Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron is the 2015 sequel to 2012's The Avengers, and I'm just gonna say it right off the bat, I love this movie. This movie is so much fun, and I have a blast with it every time I watch it. If you saw my review for the first Avengers, you'll know that I love the original as well, and I'm so happy to say that everything that makes the first Avengers film so great transfers over to Age of Ultron. I loved the family dynamic in the first one, and that's still there in Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron actually takes that in a bit of a different, darker direction than we've seen previously. In the first one, we saw the team fighting and arguing with each other, but in this film, for the first time, we see them during a time of crisis and how that crisis affects the team. Think of how it might be like if you lost a close family member and how it would affect you and the rest of your family. That's the feeling I get out of Age of Ultron. Furthermore, you also start to realize the difference in ideologies that these characters have and the beginnings of how these differences will affect their individual relationships, which, if you're caught up with the rest of the MCU films, you know that is a key element going forward. To put it simply, the first film was about the Avengers coming together. This film is about the Avengers learning about how to deal with each other. While I love the Avengers, to me the standout in this film is the villain, Ultron, played brilliantly by James Spader. What I loved about Ultron is that he was menacing, he was scary, and he was a worthy foe. He kept the Avengers on their feet. It feels like no matter what the Avengers tried to do, he was always 2 steps ahead of him. His motivations were strong, and he has a somewhat creepy demeanor that just adds to the character and the overall stakes of the film. Loki is widely considered by most people to be the best villain in the MCU. People will call me crazy, and I love Loki so much, but to me, Ultron is the best villain in the MCU. I'm wishing that he'll come back one day, but unfortunately that doesn't seem likely. The MCU has put together a very impressive collection of films. Kevin Feige and the team over at Marvel have done a fantastic job of making quality films that all connect together in the same universe. Despite all the good things they've done, they are not without flaws. One of the problems I've noticed in the MCU is that all of the films have to be so closely connected together that sometimes one of the films has to set up something for a future film, even if that film has nothing to do with it. This happens in Age of Ultron. There is a section of the film where Thor leaves the team to go off on his own little quest. The issue is that that quest that Thor goes on has nothing to do with the rest of this film. It doesn't add anything to the plot or to the story. It has no effect on anything in Age of Ultron. This Thor subplot was forced into the film only to set up what will become the main storyline of Thor Ragnarok, which came out 2 years after Age of Ultron. It does take away a little bit from the film. I don't think it should have been in there at all, and even if it absolutely had to be included in, I'm wondering if there's another way they could have done it where it fit better with the storyline in Age of Ultron, rather than just being forced in to set up a future installment. This film introduces Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen as Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, respectively. They are both super talented actors who unfortunately don't do their best work in this film. I didn't like Taylor-Johnson in the role at all. I did not buy his performance for a second, and his Russian accent is pretty terrible. I thought Elizabeth Olsen was just okay. I wasn't really impressed by her in this film. Fortunately, neither of these two actors are in the movie enough to really ruin it. Now, to Elizabeth Olsen's credit, she really has grown into the role and improved over time. Like I said, I thought she was just okay in this film, but when she reprised this role a year later in Captain America Civil War, I loved her. So kudos to her. Other than that, what else is there to say about Age of Ultron? Darker storyline, great characters, great action sequences. This film is such a blast from beginning to end. I'm a huge fan of this series and I can't wait to see what happens next. On my rating scale, Avengers, Age of Ultron gets a 9 out of 10. Have you guys seen it? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Or do you want to see it? Why not? Comment down below. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe today for more content. RAWR signing out here. Farewell, citizens of our nation. I will catch you guys in the next video.